The Metrolink has expanded rapidly over the past few decades, and the designs and looks of the network maps have changed quite a bit over the years. So let's take a look at the different maps. The Metrolink's Phase 1 opened in stages between April and July of 1992, and it's at this point that we see the first of the network maps, or diagrams. There are actually two different maps that I found. Both were used as the cover for what looks like a little booklet that showed you fares, things to notice, the colour branding, turquoise, the old Metrolink logo, of course, and the lettered fare zones as opposed to numbers, which are used today. There's another version of this map that is probably also official. There is also a vertical version. I managed to find a map from 2003 which brought in a completely new design. This one is the first to show the Trafford Centre bus link from Stretford, and also noted on the map is that you actually couldn't exit Cornbrook tram stop. It was only supposed to be used for interchange between the Altrincham and Eccles branches. It didn't have an exit to street level, except obviously an emergency exit, until 2005, but we'll get to that. You also have places of interest on the map like the Arndale, Science and Industry Museum, etc. And the fare zones have vanished. There's only a city zone, and that's it. In 2008, the map design changed very slightly and subtly. The park and ride icon was replaced by just parking for Ladywell, and also the Trafford Centre bus link line on the map has been replaced by just a bit of text. Starting at the end of 2008, the Metrolink started a rebrand for the new fleet of trams, which would replace the current fleet. And so the next year, 2009, another design change happened which was much more drastic. It's simple and it uses the new Metrolink typeface. But one thing this map doesn't do is show the individual route patterns. Another flaw is that the icons are a bit too small and hard to read. Station parking icons have been completely omitted, and so have the cycle parking and locker icons. The places of interest have been removed too, and they wouldn't return in the future. Abraham Moss was due to replace Woodlands Road soon as the new tram stop serving the area, and thus Woodlands Road was shown as a limited service stop, quite odd and unique for the Metrolink, as this is the only time it has ever happened that a tram stop has had a limited service. Later in 2011, an extension to St Werburgh's Road was added, and trams from that extension ran as far as Victoria, until in 2012 a new branch to Oldham Mumps was opened, extending that route, and the map that I found also showed a dotted line with the rest of the line to Rochdale Railway Station under construction. Now we get to 2013. In February, two extensions from Shaw to Rochdale Railway Station and from Piccadilly to Droylsden were opened. This new map reintroduced park and ride icons and cycle hubs at Piccadilly Gardens and Bury. Now there's quite a bit of a gap here, about 1.5 years. We land at this map, which shows all of those new extensions, the completed Phase 3 Metrolink network. New Islington has been included into the city zone after previously being outside it. The Eccles route to Piccadilly now runs through to Ashton, and a slightly odd route from Bury to Abraham Moss appears on the map. Victoria was also closed for a brief time for remodelling. In September 2015, we land on a new map design again, but the routes aren't as clear on this map, and the different ends are instead given tags like this. It was probably seen as simpler than showing all of the routes on the map, but it doesn't seem to have worked very well in practice. Personally, not a fan of this design. A few routes have been added. Services are now terminating at Shaw, regularly running from Exchange Square, which places this map in June 2016. Here's a map from November 2016 where the routes are still being experimented with. Letters have been completely shifted around, and the route patterns themselves have been completely changed. The second city crossing was fully opened in February 2017, and due to there being two ways for trams to travel between Victoria and St Peter's Square now, the routes that travel on each crossing are shown on the lines like this for clarity. Sale and East Didsbury both now have a cycle hub icon, which places this map in June 2017. The individual operation times for routes have been removed. They were a little confusing after all. At the start of 2018, we get another new design with the routes clearly shown. The number of routes has been reduced to just 7 compared to about 2 years earlier with 11 routes. That's much simpler. And in the next year, 2019, we get the current map design with the fare zone system, which brings back the fare zones from almost 20 years prior, but with numbers instead of letters. Interesting to notice as well that the different zones that the Altrincham, Bury and Eccles line tram stops are in pretty much mirror how they were back in the 90s. Also, the junction at St Werburgh's Road is shown differently on the map, with the airport line leaving to the left even though it leaves to the right in real life. This was done so Barlow Moor Road can be on the border of zones 2 and 3 as well. The new Trafford Park Line extension to the Trafford Centre opened in 2020, unfortunately on the same day that the first lockdown started. And over the next 18 months, the map would flicker between showing a full service and showing a reduced service. And finally, there are 3 more changes to the map. In 2024, the route from Altringham's Piccadilly was extended to Etihad Campus with a dotted line. In 2025, Barton Dock Road was renamed to Trafford Palazzo on the 28th of October. And finally, in 2026, for the new service changes that were going to last for a few months, Trafford Park services were extended temporarily to Crumpsall, and for the first time ever for a Metrolink map, walking connections were shown between tram stops. And this map is from the 30th of March 2026.